He loved his cabin. There nothing had happened. Then his friends were dead. The new neighbors had different ways. Days came heavy with regret. He studied sea charts and charted sea lanes out. He calculated times to ride the tide rip, times to go ashore and rest. He memorized the names of bays, those with plenty of driftwood for fire, those with oysters. He found a forest he could draw back into when the Coast Guard came looking, news of him missing by now broadcast statewide. He dreamed a raft, and dreamed this sea lane out, past long dormant cannons and the pale hermit who begged to go with him. A blue heron trailed him, a second heron trailed the first, a third the second, and so on. Those who looked for him checked the skies for a long blue line of labouring wings. If found, he'd declare himself pro-cloud and pro-wind, and anti-flat hot days. Then he dreamed wrong what we owe Egypt, what we owe sea lanes out of the slaves to ourselves. We come one morning, nothing for us in dawn, and nothing for us in tide. What we owe Egypt fades into what we owe Greece, and then Rome. What we owe Rome keeps repeating like what we owe time, namely our lives, and whatever laughter we find to pass on. He knew grief repeats on its own. One night, late, the face in the window glowed back at him. He believed that face some bum peeking in and waved. The old face told him, to navigate a lasting way out, he must learn how coins gleam one way through water, how bones of dead fish gleam another, and he must learn both gleams and dive deep. He learned both gleams, and learned to dive fast and come up slow as sky every day. And we might think someday we'll find him dead over his charts, and waterways out and failed to the tree. Nothing like that. His cabin stands empty, and he sails the straits. We often see him from shore or the deck of a ferry. We can't tell him by craft. Some days he passes by on a yacht, some days a tug. He's young, and captain or deckhand he is the one who waves.